You're watching BBC Two in the North. Now, Close Up North examines the explosion of club culture in Leeds. The programme includes scenes that contain flashing and strobing lights.
Another Friday night in Leeds. Thousands of clubbers from all over the country are out for it and up for it in what's becoming Britain's club capital.
You don't realise, how good Leeds is until you actually travel to other cities.
Something happened in Leeds, like about 7 years ago now, where it just erupted.
I think it's been absolutely breathtaking the way that it's taken off.
We've been very lucky to have a forward-thinking council.
It's just about fun. If you want to wear a pair of eyelashes, if you want to spray yourself gold or, wear a feather boa or whatever you want to do, you can.
Evening, folks.
Somebody that's prepared to get dressed up to go out, that's what we're looking for.
The business of nightclubs is far more intricate than a lot of people believe.
There is the danger that the big boys will push out the characters, the individuals.
Enjoy! We fulfil the needs of people who don't want the norm.
If people like to party, they like to party, and that's that.
If anyone's responsible for turning Leeds into Club City, then it's Dave Beer. He grabbed the chance to work with a council that wanted to build an exciting 24-hour city.
We were the first people to get, 6 o'clock licences, which made quite a big difference at the time, because it stopped people all being out on the streets at the same time. I remember when we first started, and we had to finish at 2 o'clock. We had, clubbers going out onto the streets and bumping into drunken mobs with kebabs and, all rolling around in the street. At least this way it gave people different times to come out.
We are creating a lively, safer city atmosphere. The city doesn't die, and that's one of the tragedies of the cities in the 70s and 80s. They were unsafe, people didn't go there, but by being bold, thinking positively, it's created a whole new lifestyle.
There's been a load of individuals that have changed everything and shaken everything up and basically are living out of clubs and everything, and the big clubs have gone, hang on a second, where have we, that they've just lost out and they want their market share back, so they've set up the new clubs and they've gone in there, which is natural. That's part of a city evolving.
Last year, Rank Leisure opened a brand new club. It had cost £5 million.
The Majestic has always been a great place of entertainment. It's been a dance hall, it's been a cinema, it's even been a bingo hall, but right now it's a spectacular discotheque. We've had to do a lot of conversions to get it to what it is now, and the building is beautiful. We've kept the dome, the original features, we've done a lot of repairs. Rather than ruining the building, we think we brought out the best of it to show you what we've got now, and putting in an awful lot of lighting and technology, but fundamentally, it's still a great old building. We like to call it sort of a mini Albert Hall, so to speak. And people of Leeds are absolutely loving this at the moment. So the Majestic is now what I would call a straightforward, a little bit more than a straightforward, very spectacular discotheque.
The business of nightclubs is far more intricate than a lot of people believe. It is big business, and we carry out vast amounts of research before we develop anything. It is a big investment, but I think it shows the company's belief that Leeds is a phenomenal city, and we want to be part of the success of Leeds.
If you're looking at pure wattage, if your average house light is 60 watts, we've got about 120,000 watts. The wow factor, really, it's always going for the wow factor. What is going to make people's jaw drop to the floor?
We sell hundreds of thousands of bottles of beer, tens of thousands of gallons of lager and bitter a year. In fact, we have to have approximately 3 deliveries a week because we don't have the storage space for the quantity of product we get through.
We're after a wide, middle-of-the-road market, catering for as many people as possible.
The difference between an independent operator and a corporate operator is that we are constantly looking for growth, and the profit margins have to be much higher than an independent operator would be happy with.
The opening of the Majestic last year underlined the strength and investment in Leeds' club scene. It's a success story that began in the early 90s with a group of small, independent club promoters. And this is where it all started, with Dave Beer bringing bright new ideas to what was then a struggling venue.
We're in the old music factory, which was Rock Shots before we came along in 1991, of where myself and my partner Alistair decided to start back to basics. At that time there was no other club in the area that was providing the kind of music and the kind of dance culture that we wanted to do in town. We just came in and said, we know your club's empty, if you give it us for free, we'll fill it, and then we'll talk business after that. Within a year we were voted #1 club in the country. We made quite a big mark on what was known as British dance culture, really, club culture. It seems quite strange 6 years on that, you know, the place looks like it does. It's quite emotional, really, in a way.
The building's now being converted into 2 state-of-the-art clubs. Dave's been called in to advise one of the new owners, New York DJ and Michael Jackson's record producer, Arthur Baker.
This is where it all started for me, really.
It's proof of Leeds' international reputation.
I mean, we used to have, like, 1,400 people in here just going crazy, like, every weekend.
Now, I heard about it in New York, unfortunately never made it over, but when you started, did you have any idea of what you were doing?
We had yeah, we had an idea of what we were doing, but how we were doing it was another thing altogether. I mean, I remember at that time a lot of it was based around the drug culture as well, which is a changing face at the moment within the young people at the moment. Things are changing from that. There's not this big ecstasy thing that was going on, which we were actually a little backlash against.
We came up north looking around, and we were in Manchester. We came to Leeds, Sheffield, a few other places, and Leeds sort of stood out. The space was great. Also, the people seemed to really want us there. Then when I found out it was a music factory and the Back to Basics connection, I thought, you know, that was an added plus.
Like, we had 3, 4 floors then of pulsating house music, and we just watched.
Do you ever have any problems with the noise?
Yeah, yeah, we have plenty of problems about the noise.
They used to be called bouncers. Now they're called door supervisors, and they're anxious to clean up their image. There are thousands of them, men and women, and all door staff receive frequent training in everything from body language to riot management.
What other qualities do you think make for a good front-of-house worker? Come on.
First of all, appearance towards the actual people.
Appearance, absolutely. You're standing there at the front of the door, you're often the first line of approach for anyone approaching the club, therefore your appearance is going to matter as well.
I'd say in the 90s, that fighting, or just being big and bouncing people down the road is very far removed from the role you play. We're often nursemaids, marriage gardens, counsellors. We're there wiping people's noses, putting our arms around them, meeting and greeting them in. We fulfil a whole host of tasks.
Any other qualities you think that are desirable when you work in front of house?
Yeah, a sense of humour is quite important.
Yeah, I think a sense of humour can be quite important. Any others? Come on, there's few here more.
You need to appreciate that you're stone cold sober and that the people that are coming in and out of the club
often
are
not.
Yeah.
What I will say to you, there's a number of qualities that are certainly not desirable front of house. that are often found.
What we've tried to do with our course is to cater it for the doorman, so we actually tackle the day-to-day issues that they come across.
One of them would be arrogance, yeah, where people will say, excuse me, where are the toilets? Or can you tell me where the DJ is? And you say, do I look like a signpost? Are you stupid? It's behind you, all right? That sort of sarcasm we cannot have on the front of the house, yeah? You're there to
almost to the point where you have to handle people with kid gloves when they are often very explosive and aggressive. The police themselves have said that society now has become so lacking in respect to authority that they're having to take measures such as asking for the side angle batons and pepper gases. You know, well, we also face that same society.
What we're aiming for is no trouble on your door. That's a good night.
So the training that we're doing, we're involving a lot of elements of body language, neuro-linguistic programming, ways and means of projecting your body language, not just reading it, but how to project yourself in terms of body language.
What do you think this person is saying to you in terms of his body language? What do you think? Fed up, bored. Fed up, bored, anything else? He's falling asleep, quite possibly. Could he be a problem?
It could be a problem if he's watching some other people.
Absolutely. Does he look to you like he's doing what you should be doing in a nightclub? Do you go to a nightclub to do that?
Leeds, this is a weekend session. This is how you end every single week. Give it to me big time. Here we go.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies. How's it going? Looking very well.
It's very important that myself and the lads get into this thing that we are ambassadors for the club.
Good evening. Holiday, mate, please.
We don't allow any sportswear.
Excuse me, mate. There's no jeans allowed, mate. Yeah, please.
We're looking for somebody that's prepared to get dressed up to go out.
Stand aside, mate, please. There's no jeans allowed, mate. Okay, folks, we get through, please.
Every single person is an individual, then we deal with that situation as an individual.
Freezing. Absolutely freezing. Hey?
How do you think I feel?
Looking very good. I know how you feel. Looking good.
Assaulting a door supervisor is not a crime that is really looked down upon. Assaulting an officer of the law is.
What we're going to do now then, let's try a couple of situations, OK? I want to get a few of you out to actually try and stop and part us and just show you what we're talking about here. Off you go then. Try and split them straight away. Don't grab the arm so much. Get a barrier in between if you can. All right, now, falling on him, bad idea. You fall on him, you could have hit him with a knee. Who's to say whether that was an accident or whether it was...
We have to have different procedures to which the police have, because we have to deal with them in different ways.
Other than that, though, it was going the right way.
Effective ways of parting people, not just using the sort of standard locks and grapples and that had been used by other agencies, for example, the police. We're having to find new systems and new ways for the job that we're doing for the 90s.
Let's go. All right, you cut my neck. Cut my neck. OK, what's my neck? Right. OK. Interesting.
I threw someone out about 6 months ago, and he thanked me for not beating him up. Serious, he thanked me for not beating him up. He said, I've never known bouncers like it. He said, if you go to another club, you get beat up before you get thrown out.
It's a real ale pub connected to a venue, stroke nightclub.
The Cockpit specialises in live music. It's small, friendly and independent, and its success is down to 2 young promoters.
We're creating a safe, challenging environment for people of like-minded musical and fashionable taste to go out and enjoy themselves in the safety and knowledge that more than likely they're not going to get hurt, you know.
The band's on 1:45. Make sure you got the right people in the right places.
You go up front door, pub. You go up front door with me. You got stage, please. Thank you.
The fulfil the needs of people who don't want the norm, you know. But it's not the mainstream. We couldn't run a 3,000 capacity club doing it, you know, but you can get 500 or 600 people who love it and adore it. It's their place, and it's because everything's so tailored to them, you know, it's very successful. It's a much more like kind of a personal approach to it.
It's a mod indie night. We got a townie coming in, and you explain to them they can't come in because they're overdressed. Look at you, Dad. I just won't let them in. It's my job not to let them in, so I don't let them in.
The building's both a pub and a club. When the pub shuts, the cockpit opens. But now things are going to change. Colin and Richard have the chance to buy the premises themselves. They think they've found financial backing to the tune of £500,000 from one of the smaller breweries. It'll still be a gamble, and with just two of them to organise everything, there's going to be a lot of headaches.
What band you got at the moment? I wouldn't mind putting Garage Land in as one of your garage nights.
Yeah.
Cheers then. Bye.
Big business is new to Colin and Richard. They know more about booking bands than balancing the books.
In touch with the builders, it's like, what can we do now? You know, sort of like it's all in the solicitor's hands, isn't it?
Well, you just get this authorisation sorted. Otherwise, it's a bit of a stalemate to an extent, isn't it?
If we stayed as we are, then you know we'd just be another, you know, a promoter just ticking away and being hammered by the VAT man.
Come on! Hey! Welcome to Brighton Beach. Good friends of us all. We've got the buzzing chairs tonight. Enjoy!
Having worked in the place for nearly 3 years now, you know, can see a lot of things that can be done. We've got to really increase the level of service. Certain elements of it have been okay before, but there's a lot of improvements, and, you know, that's what we're going to do.
We can't go on any further until the solicitors and ourselves sign this piece of paper. We get the keys, and then we can get straight in and start doing what we've been planning for the last 6 or 8 weeks. You know, it is quite nerve-wracking, actually. We were going to sublet it, and then he just turned around one day and said, right, you can have it. So it was like down to us then to sort of like approach people like Bass, Mansfield, John Smiths, all the rest of them. And Mansfield came up with the right attitude that we were looking for. Getting rid of the pillows, that one there and that one there, making more space in here, sort of redesigning the actual bar.
Well, clearly it's a very big investment for Mansfield Brewery, but there's several things that have attracted us to this particular venue and to Colin and Richard especially. We're looking at to break into the young person's venue market. Clearly it's a fairly high-risk business going into the dance clubs and the music bar venues for a brewery, but at the end of the day, if we get it right and we back the right type of operator, then the rewards can be great for both us and the operator.
We hold them back around about 11 o'clock, and then we open up into the actual pub.
Got faith in what we're doing, otherwise we wouldn't be doing it, but yeah, you can't ignore it. It's more the things that are more out of your control that, like, then make you more worried about, God, I owe so much money.
To many people, clubs means drugs. A researcher from the University of Leeds, working with the magazine Mixmag, conducted the biggest survey ever undertaken on the use of ecstasy. Of the 4,000 clubbers taking part, 81% admitted to currently using the drug. And despite well-publicised deaths, half of them use it every week.
There was a huge diversity of people who used ecstasy, including a range of professionals, nurses, doctors, journalists, lawyers, right through to those who were unemployed, and a lot who were students.
The research has shown that clubbers buying ecstasy are also playing a dangerous game. Over 40% of drugs supplied as E were actually other substances, anything from amphetamines to paracetamols.
We operate nationally as a company a zero-tolerance policy to drugs. We have a lot of internal systems that we operate both here and on a national basis, such as random door searching and so on and so forth, to make sure that we eliminate that problem.
If you can't keep drugs out of schools and prisons, how are you supposed to keep it out of nightclubs when, you know, drugs have been a part of youth culture since the 50s?
Young people have always taken drugs in nightclubs, so the 1990s phenomena of taking ecstasy in clubs isn't a new thing. If they weren't taking ecstasy, I think they'd definitely be taking something.
People are getting tired and bored and have been there, seen that, bought the T-shirt and have done the ecstasy days. You know, you'll find that it's a lot different now. You don't see as many casualties in clubs nowadays as you used to do.
I don't think the use of ecstasy at clubs is in decline. I think people who say that tend to be old, growing up themselves, and tend to have grown out of the scene themselves. But from our work in nightclubs, we see new 17 and 18-year-olds, even 15 and 16-year-olds who are starting to use ecstasy in clubs. So I don't think it's on the decline.
You can have fun anywhere without taking drugs. We really, really stress that at our club, you know. Having fun is just about, you know, it's enjoying yourself with your friends and being able to be relaxed and confident and comfortable with who you are.
Susie and Kaz run mixed gay and straight nights at the Warehouse. They also own a rather specialised shop.
I started working in clubs a few years ago, and ever since then I've been working in very glamorous clubs and, you know, been really interested in fashion. It was just a natural development because people couldn't get what they wanted in Leeds, and we thought we'd, you know, have a shop and, you know, we'd sell all the bits and pieces that you can't get anywhere else, and, you know, that's something that I was really interested in.
I don't know what to wear. I'm sick of this. I never have anything to wear day in. So, oh, God. Feather boas. Feather boas.
Where's your hair colouring?
Up there. So a real mishmash of everything, cheap, expensive, makeup, accessories, shoes, second-hand clothes, new clothes, young designers, anything that we like, really.
That looks fabulous. What about this?
There's no rules in this shop.
Gonna be skimpy. You try it. You try it. These are nice.
When I first opened the shop, it seemed really, really mad and outrageous, but recently things just got so much more colourful. You know, in clubs, when I started working, they were all black, and now they're all bright colours, and the shops are all bright colours, and I think that's great.
Yeah, that's a bit more effective, isn't it?
I had a 45-year-old man in here last week that bought an assortment of nail polishes and some coloured hairspray and some glitter gel for his body.
Did it come with glue then, eyelashes?
Well, I presumed it was for his girlfriend or his wife, but it wasn't.
I'm always in dresses all the time. Well, I'm going to try this biker dress on. I can't drive, but I've always fancied it.
I knew there was a space for a club in Leeds where, you know, you could mix people together that were gay and that were straight and that were, you know, from all different walks of life, where people could do what they wanted, not get laughed at or jeered at, because that's what I wanted. What we do is very specialised, and we have a very, very loyal following. We have the same people coming back week after week. You know, we just do what we're doing, and as long as people want it, we'll do it.
The dice, the speaker inside, the boxes, hot teacups, right, the bed, yeah, homo, hetero, lesbo, crews inside, and a little window for Costandina and a little bench, and then upstairs we've got a bit more decor up there.
People come here and they pay like £8–10 to come in, and, you know, we're here to provide a service where people can come and forget everything, meet new people, have their minds open to new ideas and influences in a positive way.
Groups of lads usually are out there to have loads of beers, get really drunk and stumble about a bit. That's not what the club that we go to is about. It's more about going out, meeting new people, expressing yourself, either sexually, physically, or just mentally.
And
being friendly.
And
being friendly.
And
getting a free space to go and do what you want.
Yeah, it's a mindset. That's all it is. It's not a music set. It's a mindset, really.
Yeah. You're gonna look good.
Susie and Kaz ran Speed Queen and I Spy, and she used to run Vague and everything. You know, Dave Beer was basics, really. You know, that's the difference here. Nobody knows, like Gatecrasher, that sprung up, it's become a super club in Sheffield. but nobody knows. You know, it's not Gatecrasher is owned by so-and-so. Whereas in Leeds, it did spring from individuals.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate gift off your boyfriend, a dog collar. It starts saying one of two things. Either A, you're a dog, or B, he wants to drag you around on a lead.
It's actually for bondage on a Sunday.
Listen, if you're wearing a check shirt, please don't bother queuing because you won't get in, all right? There's no check shirts in the club on a Saturday night. None whatsoever. Big check, small check, tiny check, don't get, no check shirt.
Right, do you know that it's a mixed gear-friendly night tonight?
Yeah.
And you've got to be friendly to just like gear people. You're not allowed to talk to anybody that's straight.
Now, come on, open up. Coco Chanel Part 2, but that is so 1998 fashion. Come on, come down here.
Leeds just seems to have a good, strong nucleus of people that are really, committed to it and challenged ideas and brought new people into Leeds, new DJs, new styles, new everything. I think they've, broken a lot of ground.
We was doing our own promotions, we'd be sort of pulling on our own experiences and our own sort of tastes, and you might end up with 3 or 4 nights that are very similar. If you use outside promoters, they've got completely different ideas. Therefore, you open up your club a lot wider to a bigger market of people.
After months of problems, the deal's done. Colin and Richard can finally start to make changes at the cockpit.
Got a lot of work to do, and the deal's finally gone through after several months after it was meant to. It's given us a bit of breathing space, but got a lot of work to do now. It's just like owning your own playground.
No, but at the end of the day, it's like you've got your own place and you can do what you want, and the work really begins now.
And work's also beginning on yet another small, independently owned bar. Many believe they'll be the next big leisure opportunity, perhaps even attracting people to actually live in the new 24-hour Leeds.
It's been transformed. What you've got now that people think is good is the small bars. And they're all small places, but they all have an individual character to them. And if you want to bring people to live back into the city centre, they need to have places that they can go to, that they can walk in, and somebody will know them, and they will know the people in the place, like an old-fashioned pub used to be. You remember the days when you used to have a landlord rather than just a manager who nobody bloody knew.
Dave Beer's latest venture is one of those bars, Luna. For him, it's a chance to lead the scene in a new direction.
Anything that's cool for a while starts to become mainstream, and that's why you have to recreate and start again. There's a big rise in bar culture at the moment, and I think that's just for it's good because it's like a lot of people are tired and a little bit older and wanting to, again, for something new. Maybe in another 5 years, when people are actually living in the city, I think it'll be a really vibrant place, and I think the council will have finally got what they actually wanted with a 24-hour Leeds, but you don't realise, how good Leeds is until you actually travel to other cities. Obviously, it's not London at the moment, but then again, it's not Coventry.